same stuff, as it does look like bot start for both junglers. They're wanting the quicker leash from the bot lane. And just looking at team comps in general, this is probably going to be a fun one, because on one side you've got very, very much a front to back with Kaisa Victor and Meatballs backed up by Seraphine. They're going to win basically every team fight. On the other side, it's more split push oriented, maybe some quick picks with Tristana as the AD. You're wanting the all-ins. Diana also just wants to be in a side lane. Trundle is gonna be a pretty good answer to the Mundo and Ornn, because you just steal their resistances with ult and beat them down and kill them quickly.
Yeah, really this this red side comp to me looks like it was kind of individual counter picks cobbled together into this team. I mean, you've got the Trundle, who really does counter the resistances of Ornn, you know, the percent health against Dr. Mundo, but wow, aggression in the bot lane.
Yeah, already getting low, and that's just a bomb going up immediately. Just do it with their Tristana. Gotta respect the level 2 all-in. Tristana, Thresh, level 2 all-in is probably one of the best in the game, because both of those are very hard spiking champions level 2. Especially with the Tristana now taking Hail of Blades as a standard rune, lets you get that bomb proc off for the reset, and just get a very early kill, and kind of showing our point about team comp put together to support each other, and just individual lanes picked to counter the enemy.
And we're going to have to keep seeing more of this aggression. Just Do It and Randy Newman obviously finding themselves a great start, burning that flash by the Seraphine. Both of those bot laners going to be very squishy, and if Randy Newman lands a hook, it will be ridiculously easy for them to find a kill, just because, as you said, Hail of Blades, Tristana, not to mention Tristana is just kind of the most broken ADC in the game right now. And then on top of that, having the experience and now the CS advantage as they start pushing in this wave, it's going to be much harder for Azedris to get these creeps, and we see that he misses most of them. And now a 2 CS lead here for Just Do It, and they're just going to keep shoving in on this bot side because Sleeping Giant was seen top lane.
Yeah, and I imagine that's something we'll see throughout the game, as you can't really set up freeze or play back as Tristana. Once you have a loot like this, you're pretty much always at the enemy tower. They're going to be getting a lot of plates. They're going to be getting some damage and probably a CS lead. And it'll be up to blue team to respond to that on the other side, or just because they're always overextended, might be able to look down there for a gank once you actually get some CC on the Seraphine.
And on the side of AoE CC here on the blue side, I'm kind of wondering, where is their strong lane? I mean, you've got Ornn, who is a fantastic weak side top laner, but really mid lane is also kind of their weak side. And then also jungle isn't very strong either, because you just don't really have that many gank tools, especially pre-6 for the Ornn and Victor. So, you know, is this blue team there? Are they just going to have to turtle up and kind of avoid dying until they can get themselves, you know, into this mid-late game?
I imagine that'll be most of it. That's a good hook onto the Kaisa. That's going to burn a flash with the bomb on top of her. It's going to go off, and that's just very nice. Burn his summoners from landing one death sentence, and next time it will be the kill.
And we're gonna, actually they're gonna stay. Just Do It and Randy Newman will stick around. They saw that Azedris didn't actually back, so they're just gonna keep going, continue pushing this lead for this Tristana, and continue shoving these waves into tower. Meanwhile, I Love's Rachel not having a very good time on the top side here, but Hastega coming in for the gank.
Yeah, is gonna be able to get the knockup, flash away, but has a lot of chase down, gonna be running forward. Let's just forward for one more. Needs one more auto, but gets slowed by the Mundo, who's now going for the body block. Flash Tom, but that's going to put him in range of Mundo, who's going to flash to the zone to chase him down. Now landing the cleavers. Hastega can't outduel him. That's a double kill for Sleeping Giant in the top lane.
Really good gank coming in from Hastega, burning a lot from Nick War, but Sleeping Giant rotated very well, was able to find that 2v2 even after his top laner died, and he found himself a double kill as well. So this Mundo, you kind of underestimate him because it's very hard for him to get on top of you, but part of being a juggernaut, you've got massive damage once you're on top. So he went in and just absolutely bonked him down, didn't even need his ultimate. Sleeping Giant now 2-0 on the board, a 20 CS lead, and Nick War going to mirror that 20 CS lead, find 2 assists for himself in this top lane. Not looking so good for Reign of Kings on this top end, but the bot tells a different story.
Yeah, one thing people don't really realize about Mundo, in my experience, is that he's considered a late game scaling champ, where he's kind of squishy early when he uses his ult, doesn't have all that regen, but late game he can be unkillable into the right team comps. He is a amazingly good duelist early levels, as it does look like possible 4-man dive setup, Trist, but they aren't going to go for it. So I get to keep talking about how actually amazing Mundo is at dueling early on. Between cleaver slows, I don't know what skill order is, but I believe if you max E, it's actually just so much damage, as we are getting chased down from Trundle in the top lane, has the subjugate running, gets Nick Moore kind of low, but can't really chase him forward. As he goes, we'll pick up the, what is it, honey fruit, to sustain up and keep pressure in the lane.
Whoa!
Yeah, fight's going mid, goes in, lands on him with the bear, Thresh is there as well. That's just a good setup from Renji, pulling the Victor in with the ult right as he gets bear dropped on by the drop bear Histega in the mid lane to pick up a very good kill.
Yeah, it seemed a little less like a fight in mid lane and more like an execution or just a little mosh pit, but that will end up netting this dragon here for Reign of Kings. They're going to find themselves a little more in the bot lane, and now Histega has himself a kill as well. So they're looking pretty good, only about a 200 gold lead, but they also have that dragon to be sure. And all of their power is, of course, situated around this bottom side. Ornn is still quite strong, even though he did lose that 1v1 a little bit ago that we saw against I Love's Rachel. He still has the CS lead, he's still got those the extra assist, and he is continuing to push under turret. Much easier for Ornn to shove waves than it is for, Trundle, who doesn't have any AoE.
Yeah, it's one of those where Ornn is pretty decent into Trundle early on when Trundle doesn't have the ult to just stat Ornn down with his autos. Ornn actually trades pretty well back into him, so we did see the CS lead. That will swing much more into Trundle's favor as the game goes on. Once he starts getting his dueling items, and with the subjugate, he wins pretty much any all-in that he goes into. But Ornn, it should be fine as long as he manages to not get too far caught up in lane and can stay under tower. As it does look like Mundo's going to be coming in for a gank. Ornhorn called out. We're still looking at bot lane. We don't care about top. The pillar interrupted the Ornhorn, I believe, is what we saw. Nick Ward missed it. I'm pretty sure I Love's Rachel did a good job with the pillar interrupting it. Something you could do, so well done from him to escape the gank.
Yeah, on top of the just basic counter of subjugate and stats, but looks like a 3-man dive coming in.
Yeah, but Randy Newman tanked tower way too early. He already has to get out with Aftershock running, took a bunch of tower shots. Now just do it as low, going back under tower. Randy Newman had aggro back, he dies as well. And now the root coming back up, Victor's roaming down. Volibear is looking to counter, goes back under tower. Renji gets the double dash, he gets the kill. So they will probably be able to escape. Victor running face first into a Volibear. You don't want that. Doesn't have ult, so the Gravity Well will stun him up. Just do it. Don't chase too far into the Chaos Storm. That'll take you down real quick with a laser on top. And quick fight in the top lane. It's going to be a knockup. Subjugate does have enough for it. No more mana, so won't be able to get any slows. So McQuarrie will be able to run. And the fight ends being 2-for-1 in favor of Reign of King.
Yeah, Reign of Kings, they had a bit of a messy fight there at the beginning. They traded 1-for-1 in that 3v2, but they pulled it all back and they were able to pick up J-Core. Oh, J-Core. It's like Core JJ, but backwards. Renji managed to find himself that kill on J-Core, jumping back under the tower, and thanks to Histega standing there and just zoning off Agopa, they weren't going to, AoE wasn't going to be able to find themselves anything back after that first mistake from Reign of Kings. And now it's a 2-0-1 Tristana, got that Noon Quiver and the upgraded boots. Meanwhile, Azedris only sitting on that pickaxe and the upgraded boots. So about a 1,300 gold lead and a jump in from Histega.
Yeah, they're gonna get Azedris low immediately, flashes away, still has a bottom under no auto, so won't do too much damage, but the bite from Histega. Renji there to close them off anyway if he didn't get it. Now they're gonna look forward. There's the Encore, is gonna trump up Renji, who is gonna keep going with the dive, manages to get it, has one more dash out to the minions, and that's gonna be another 2 quick kills for Reign of Kings.
Yeah, way to get out there by Renji. 2 kills easy, and now Just Do It will be able to just burn this tower down. Tristana with some attack speed, a little bit of AD. Perfect recipe here for taking down towers. So 1.5k gold lead, gonna jump a little bit more as this first turret goes down in favor of Reign of Kings. And suddenly, they're about 2k ahead, and it's looking pretty good for them here in this early game. This pretty much is their win condition. Get everyone ahead individually before the team fighting starts.
Yeah, they are doing a good job of that, being active when they need to, getting the kills down bot. Does come at a bit of a CS deficit mid from all the roams, made up for by the bot lane, as they did get that first tower, so now they're going to be looking to rotate their bot. Either mid or top is the standard play after you have that down, when you have as good of a tower taker as Tristana is. So we'll see where they decide to start putting resources. I would assume it'll be mid so that they still have people in the area for the dragon that's going to spawn, so they can hopefully start stacking up for soul as well.
Yeah, second dragon is coming up in 32 seconds. You see there on the right side. And getting that 2 Drake lead is going to be pretty important here for Reign of Kings, considering the amount of threat that the other team is going to have once they get into this proper team fighting, once Nick War is allowed to join his team. But iLovezRachel doesn't seem to be keen on letting him join the team at all. They're gonna shove him out using that subjugate again, pretty much using it on cooldown to keep pressure in this lane. But looks like both teams collapsing here onto Dragon. Randy Newman having to ult.
Yeah, he's going to get picked off immediately, just walked too far forward. Now the charge is going to come in. Ornn does be able to destroy terrain, but now he doesn't have his dash to get away. So iLovezRachel is still able to chase him down, but here comes the Ornn Horn. Gonna go back towards the bot lane. Apparently not much happened top, as they're hiding in a bush, are managing a face check. Now they're getting onto the Seraphine. He's just gonna go down immediately as Tigga gets the kill, but Renji's taking a bunch of damage. Flash forward from the Dr. Mundo, who is going to get the shutdown. Top lane, another close fight. One more bonk. Nick Ward gets the solo kill into the trundle. Didn't have the subjugate, just a bit too low, and that's gonna be surviving on a sliver of health as Ocean Dragon is gonna go to AoE CC.
Tying up these just Drake count. AoE CC at 1-1 here, and they managed to take themselves a really good fight. They pick off Renji, and they were sitting in that pixel brush, Renji and Hastega. They're waiting for J-Core and Zedrus to move forward, but that Kaisa never got in range of the Diana, so they had to go into J-Core, and that's not really an efficient use of resources before this Seraphine really has the chance to get that Moonstone Renewer. So it is much harder for them once they blow everything on the Seraphine. No. Oh man. Nick War with the great escape by standing exactly still.
Yeah, that's unlucky. iLovezRachel. As yeah, that's a really, really big fight win for AoE CC. Managed to get the initial pick, then still 1-for-1, only losing their support. And the Dragon Denial is really, really good for them. You don't want to have Soul being threatened by Reign of Kings. That's one way that you can scale into the late game a bit better. And having Cloud Soul on the Trundle, because you can fight Ornn when you have Subjugate, and there's absolutely nothing Ornn can do about it. When you don't have Subjugate, Ornn actually has a pretty decent time fighting back, as we saw in the earlier part. So having that reduced cooldown, as it does look like gang's coming top, but no Ornn Horn to be able to call. So just going to be a stroll up top lane to remind him that he can't do whatever he wants his Trundle. That's Mundo's thing.
He does, in fact, go where he pleases. But Nick Ward not taking any damage, really. He's got that Sunfire Cape. He's got the plated steel caps already. And it's going to be really hard for iLovezRachel to get any kind of lasting damage here, especially since he went for the Essence Reaver for some of that mana sustain instead of going for, just more pure damage or something to help break through Ornn's tank. I think it's still a decent choice, but just does not lend itself to 1v1ing constantly, especially when you're now a level down against this Forge God.
Yeah, the Essence Reaver is pretty interesting to me, because I can see like an argument for it if you're wanting to purely 1v1 split push, which now Trundle is kind of locked into. He's never going to group with a crit build. Pretty bad. Like if you wanted to group, you would go something like Divine Sunderer or even Trinity Force into more tank items. But with the Essence Reaver crit, it's a bit off. So he's going for that pure 1v1, as he is looking to beat down to Nick Ward, chasing him down. Still has a Subjugate up. Or did he? I don't know. He just kind of walks into Nick Ward and dies without Nick Ward having to even use ult.
I think he did. He had the Subjugate. It just he just didn't use it. And I mean, yeah, the split push 1v1, it works once you can actually 1v1 Ornn. Just at this point, you're not strong enough. Ornn's stronger than you, and when you're not going to use your ult, you pay for it.
Yeah, meanwhile, Victor comes in with the TP top, but nice juke with the Lantern from the Ornn Horn means nothing more is going to come of it, but now Ogappa is kind of split off as Renji's going to face check into him, don't get caught in the gravity field, actually baits out the Chaos Storm, thinking that Renji was going to go back on him with the team backing up, but just an escape, and no kills come off of that TP.
And now look, I Love Rachel has actually moved into the mid lane. Okay, it looks like he is going to go bot lane and just kind of farm his way to usefulness here on the bot side. Nick War is going back. He'll probably... Oh, he's doing a little bit of a dance in the fountain, but he will end up going back top. Probably expecting I Loves Rachel to end up there, and there we go. The ping, and he starts moving. He needs to match this Trundle who has pretty good tower taking ability, but there's no tower to take there on the bot side. And there we go. They switch back, and now Victor's going there to farm out against the Trundle. Meanwhile, Nick War is going to continue putting pressure on this top side where the Herald is. And Dragon not coming up for another 58 seconds with the TP advantage on the top side. It's going to be good for this AoE CC team.
Yeah, they're in a really good spot right now as Pay Pillar means he won't get run down by the Mundo who has his Kim tank done. But yeah, it's kind of a rough situation for Reign of Kings at the moment. Their split pusher is hard losing the 1v1 even more so now that the Ornn has his Bramble done, he has the Tabbies done, he is at almost no risk of dying, and anytime Subjugate isn't up, he can pretty much just 1v1 it. They have him topside with the Dragon coming. AoECC has Dragon control. Don't really want to be face checking them either. Between Ornn, Victor, Seraphine can do a good job. You can't really kill a Mundo even if you all get on him with your team comp. So they're in a bit of a rough spot, and you definitely don't want AoECC getting the Dragon stacking done for Soul because you have a much harder time contesting them for it later. And they are going to have Renji back. Top tower is going to be taken by Nick War in the meantime as the Dragon started up.
Yeah, Reign of Kings has to take this Dragon. They just sacrificed top tower. Now the teleport committed from the Ornn. It's going to be a full-on team fight, maybe. Yeah,
Randy Newman missed the hook, has to flash out. That's a big ult from Diana. Gets the middle four with a Butler E on top. They're going to go forward. Stun means the Ornn can't go back, but they're sitting in the grab field. They're sitting in the Chaos Storm. They are all going to go down to all that damage from the Mundo, from the Kaisa, from the Victor. Flash forward gravity field. It's done, but the Cleaver's going to hit him in the back of the head, followed by a laser, and that is going to be a team fight win for AoECC, 4-1 as they claim the Dragon.
AoECC winning across the map. Nick War was able to shove out Renji, force a lot of mana to be used, so Renji has to go back. Nick War then gets that top tower. Renji TP's in to try and help his team force this Dragon, but Nick War gets there as well. The fight starts off, and it's the team fighting comp versus the not team fighting comp. And the team fighting comp stopped being behind a little bit ago. So that Seraphine ult coming in off the back of Renji's ultimate with the Diana, it was able to lock down 3 members, I believe, which followed up with a 3-man Chaos Storm and Grav Field from Agopa, and after that was pretty much all she wrote. The entire team of AoECC just getting to free fire on this Reign of Kings, and it's going to put them at a 3k gold lead, have that extra Rift Herald in their pocket, and this extra Dragon now. It's looking pretty good for this late game scaling comp.
Definitely in a really good spot for them. They don't really have much threat in the side lane. Victor is, I believe, strong enough to be able to match the Diana. Trundle, I don't believe it's either of the side laners unless Victor burns Phase Rush doing something silly and gets chased down with Pillar. So all he's really doing is keeping someone in his lane for a moment, but not getting much pressure beyond that. Meanwhile, the rest of the team just gets to do whatever they want. No one can kill Mundo at this point unless you give Tristan a really, really long time to fight him. I also don't believe there's any heal cut for Reign of Kings, which you kind of want against Moonstone, Seraphine, and Dr. Mundo. So that's another sustain that you just can't chew through. And yeah, it's going to be kind of rough for them going forward. But if you do manage to get the split push off, maybe get a couple kills in the side lane, get your side lanes rolling, then maybe they can actually do something about coming back in this game.
Yeah, Reign of Kings has to play this fast, however. They can't just, you know, turtle in the side lanes and wait to do something or other, because AoE CC outscales, they out team fight, so it really has to be finding your team good picks. You need to use that Thresh to your best ability. And I loves Rachel. I mean, yes, he's sitting in the side lane, just kind of farming, split pushing, making himself relevant again. But I think he may need to. They may need to like at least play around that Trundle pillar, be able to find people with it, because you've got Seraphine, you've got Kai'Sa, fairly. Fairly immobile once you get the pillar on them, because Kai'Sa has nowhere to go but deeper in. And then Seraphine, of course, not having any repositions. But AoE CC, they know what their strengths are right now, so they are just 5-manning right down this mid lane. They are going to let Renji get pressure on this tower, but they're easily going to pick up this mid lane tower, get that second charge off on this inhibitor tower. And with the minion wave coming in, they're probably going to be able to find themselves 2 towers off of this push, and Renji only barely got the minions in. We have the Call of the Forge God available, as well as the Encore here for AoE CC. They may be baiting out the team of Reign of Kings before they come forward and start this team fight off in earnest.
Yeah, here comes the ultimates. Encore doesn't hit anyone. Call of the Forge God missile it either. Renji in the backline with a really big ult. Manchkin on top of him. Drop bear kills the Seraphine. Histego with the kill. Now they're chasing forward, but Mundo's still in the middle. He's not dying. He's going to get a double kill. Descent's actually managed to sneak through. That's going to pick off the Kai'Sa, but you still can't kill the Dr. Mundo. He's going to be a triple quadra denied by Agopa, and they try to make it as close a fight as they can for Reign of Kings, but it still doesn't go in their favor.
Yeah, a 4 for 2. I mean, it's better than I kind of expected here for Reign of Kings, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to get a lot of damage off on Nick War. He still won't die, however. That Orin is just too tanky, and just you cannot cut through these stats here. Just do it. He was strong in the early game, but he's just not strong enough to deal with these hyper tanks anymore. And I think the game can't be over here.
Yeah, that was a bit of an overstep from AoE CC. You get the team fight when you see all the Nexus towers go down. It's still at 23 minutes. Death timers are short as Shutdown is going to go through, or just do it on a Nick War, and that's a pretty bad overstay actually. I mean, you got the 2 Nexus towers, which always gives you threat to just run down mid and end. That's a really big deal because it prevents a lot of the split pushing if the 5-man can just group and run at you. But that's shutdowns for the Diana. She got 2 really big kills. That's a shutdown for the Tristana. She's starting to get strong now. Has the Lord Dominic's done to help chew through this front line. Still no heal cut. If no one gets it on this next back, I'm going to be kind of sad about it. And now you're giving the Baron as well. But meanwhile, Kai'Sa's in the base. They're going to have to back pretty quickly because she might just do it. Okay, Renji is back. I think you're able to just kill her off there. Flashes right into the rest of the enemy team who just came back with their Baron recall. And now they have Baron, they're going to have something to do with it, but you also have to be careful about that back door.
Yeah, the backdoor with both TPs up for these solo laners is ridiculously scary. Someone's got to stay in this mid lane and push out minions while there isn't a ward in the base of Reign of Kings. AoE CC does have that inhibitor down, so if you don't stop all of these minions, it makes it way easier to just teleport on top of one of those supers and just walk your way to victory. However, with their ADC down, AoE CC has backed off of this dragon. They're just going to hand that one over. They are not in the lead anymore. Actually, Reign of Kings is now in the lead because they managed to not only get those 3 giant shutdowns that reset that gold lead to 2k in favor of AoE CC, then they followed up with a Baron, which is 1500, then another 300, well 450 really, on Azedris. Game's even again. However, there is an open Nexus. So the game is even with the caveat of one of the teams is massively behind.
Yeah, pretty much. At this point, you really do need Reign of Kings to get something with the Baron. You have it, you got the gold lead back to even, sure, but if you don't get anything more with it, all it did is get the gold lead back to even, which is a losing game state for you. You needed to be ahead. You still can't deal with the 5v5. Now they have an open Nexus too, so any more one fights just in their favor. So if you didn't get anything with the Baron, which they haven't, then you're really just in a worse spot. Despite having that comeback, despite having the gold, you're just in a much worse map state situation, and it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get anything from it. So now it's pretty much back to square one.
And something else about how Reign of Kings kind of found their way back into this game, it wasn't really by their own merit, it was just kind of punishing greed from AoE CC, and greed just means taking the Nexus turret at this point, so there is no opportunity anymore for Reign of Kings to punish an overstay or anything short of like finding a good pick. They can't really punish anything from the side of AoE CC. We did see the Death Bush not quite pan out. The Encore was used. The Stormbringer was also used, but that's a much less important team fighting ultimate. But just, you see how hard it is to clear waves and counter siege against this AoE CC team. They've got so much pick potential, or they've just got the ability to lock you down with Seraphine into the gravity field. They still have the Call of the Forge God, and with that open mid lane, it is going to mean that Renji has to go back, and it will allow that turret to drop in favor of AoE CC. They're just going to play this nice and slow because they know that time is on their side. The only thing they have to worry about is the inhibitor coming back up, and that's really not going to stop them all that hard.
Yep, and going back to a point I've been harping on, the Executioner's calling for someone's head because there is no Executioner's calling anywhere on Reign of Kings team. They still don't have heal cut. You're up against Moonstone Seraphine. You're up against a Mundo. You need to be able to burn someone down. You don't want them healing through it, so you don't get the picks you have to get for these fights. You don't win long ones anyway, but healing makes it a lot harder to get these first picks, and they still don't have a way to negate that, so that just removes a lot of the targets, because you can't kill Mundo, and if you can't kill him, and he's going to sustain through it with, I believe it's 75% of his HP being healed over the duration of his ult, so you essentially have to kill him twice. It's just a lot harder to make a comeback.
Well, once Mundo hits 16, which he's bound to do any second now, it's actually 130% of his HP is healed over the duration. Not to mention the bonus from from Spirit Visage. It's a lot, and we're kind of playing good cop, bad cop here, because I resolved that I wouldn't talk about them not having an Executioners until someone finally got it, and I could say, way to go, you learned. It looks like that day may never come, based on the number of times that you've pointed it out, the number of team fights they've lost, and the fact that it just hasn't. Hey, an Executioner's calling on Just
hey!
Do It! Get the balloons.
Caster's Blessing. They finally heard us. Just Do It does manage to get it. Only problem now is that your ADC is delaying his Infinity Edge spike by another 800 gold, and you also need Infinity Edge to cut through the tank line. So it is good that he has it, but it also just kind of shows how far behind you are, where even okay choice is now a bad choice, because without Infinity Edge, your DPS is hurting a lot, as now they're just grouping 5 bot as Trundle pushing top. And even with Trundle there, they aren't really able to stop this push, so you do want him off doing at least something on the map, because he did go the crit build, can't really team fight. So they do have to give it up. Now they're looking at another tower though. Dragon's coming up soon. This will be still point Dragon, so it is fine to give it, but another inhib is a very bad thing to give when you have open nexus, and bot lane's a lot harder to defend than mid from the super minions.
Oh, but the Trundle teleport, it finishes!
Yeah, does manage to get it. Now the Ornhorn comes out. Team fight starting. They do get on the backline. Another big ult from Renji, but he's trimmed up. Can't get into the Zhonya's in time. Going to the backline. They're trying to find the support. He does go down with Jake. But now the carries are still alive. Kais is just able to free auto in the backline. Flash over from Just Do It. Does manage to get another kill. Jumping back over the wall. Is going to escape. Now the Trundle is trying to kite it out. Flash over. I think he still hit the head, but on the pillar. But as Edris was able to free it the whole time, he's able to get another kill. 3 still up. No one could kill the tank line of AoE CC, so they are going to be able to just run down the Nexus and end the game with Just Do It, able to do nothing but watch.
Yeah, the early game coming in pretty good here for Reign of Kings, but they weren't able to translate it. Their top lane lost pretty hard, and as soon as those tanks kind of got online, it was damn near impossible for Reign of Kings to take them down. A great team-played game here by AoE CC, playing well to their win conditions and just waiting it out until they could just beat them with the comp diff.
Yep, is a good win from them. Reign of Kings just not able to do what they needed to get the early advantages. And from there, kind of comp diff, kind of just hard to fight in general. And that is going to mean another win on the board for AoE CC as we finish up our first and next to last game of the Plat stream.
Yeah, so don't go anywhere, anybody. We have another game, an absolute banger for you. Coming up right after this, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with Pigs Might Fly versus KG Counter Logic Flaming. So don't go anywhere, because we're coming back in just a minute. Well, welcome back, everybody. We are here for our second and final game of the day between KG Counter Logic Flaming and Pigs Might Fly.
Yep, and getting onto it right away with Counter Logic Flaming. On the blue team, we have Soy Bronze with Shin and top, Jedi Master Windu playing Hecarim in the jungle, Hariken with Syndra mid, and Mullins and IK13 with the Kaiser Rakan bot lane.
Meanwhile, on the red side, the Pigs Might Fly. It's Top Knight Slushy on top lane, of course, with Gnar, Water Bear in the jungle with that Lilia, Saigo Getsuga in the mid lane on Nocturne mid. Vedius would be proud. And the bot lane with Robot Droid and Dulos with the Seraphine Alistar combo here. I'm interested for this spicy pick. The Nocturne mid is not as troll as it once was, and Seraphine bot, of course. It got nerfed a little bit, but it is still quite strong for its team.
Yeah, Stride Breaker's a broken item. Pretty much what has led Nocturne to become a lot more prominent. It really synergizes with them. He likes all the stats it provides. Also means that when you ult on someone and fear tether them, you can actually stride break, and even if they flash away, they're still within fear tether range. Makes it a lot easier to chase them down. Still good enough offensive stats to give you enough damage to kill that squishy, and also letting you build more into the tank with Sterix and whatnot, so you don't get absolutely one-shot or are useless from behind, like the lethality version. So a bit of the reason why it's come back in, and a lot more fun team comp, I guess I'd say, from Pigs Might Fly. Counter Logic Flaming do have a lot more standard of a dive comp. They have the Shen, the Hecarim, the Kai'Sa, the Rakan, they all want to go in, but on Pigs Might Fly's side, there's a lot more picks that you don't see quite as often in more niche roles.
I am wondering here if Robot Droid and Water Bear are both going to go for the Moonstaff build and just kind of enable the rest of their team while doing as much damage as, you know, they can reasonably be expected to. But Top Knight Slushy with the percent max health damage in his mini form, and then of course just raw stats in his mega form. Meanwhile, Saigo Getsuga should just be able to absolutely tear down Malins or JK13 or Ariken on any of those three squishy champions.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a world where Double Moonstaff is pretty decent into kind of Logic Flaming's comp. They do have some DPS, but not a very, very high damage comp for champion. It would worry me, however, for pigs that if they do have Double Moonstaff, that's a lot less AP damage. You can stack armor a lot better from kind of Logic Flaming. Also leaves them without a true carry in fights that's able to do DPS, as Nocturne and Gnar, you do damage with them, but it's not quite as sustained, and especially to frontline, as something like a Leandri's Lilia would be. So I would say that I would like to see Leandri's on Lilia and Steph on Seraphine, but I also don't know that it would be bad if both went Staff.
Well, we're already seeing a little bit of action on both sides. You know, Saigo Getsuga, he's Nocturne, so it's not like he can exactly have a passive mid lane. So he will be trading back and forth with the Ariken, and that Syndra will have quite low mana after these first couple of minutes of laning. And it looks like the ping coming in from Water Bear, and Master Windu is here as well. So they're just going to trade a little bit of damage and call it quits for now.
Yeah, Spectate Client didn't want us to see the fun stuff, but we did on the minimap get to see Jedi Master Windu actually just ran from behind mid looking for a gank on Nocturne. What I assume happened is that, as we do have a double knock up here in bot counter from Rakan, just gets done mid-dash, but has a second one to get out, so that's fine. But what I assume happened is that Nocturne actually spell shielded the Hecarim charge on the E. You do still take the auto damage, but I believe you're able to spell shield the knockback, which prevented the gank from going off. I believe the Cinder Stun was also used a couple seconds earlier, so couldn't follow up with that. So good avoidance of the gank is that we have to assume was a good avoidance, as we didn't get to see what exactly happened.
Yeah, spectate mode is kind of troll today. I don't know what happened with this 11.6 patch, but it was a lot better last week, I swear. Now we do see Top Knight Slushy. He is, well, he just turned into Mega, but he is using that range in the Mini Gnar form to clear these waves and keep Soy Bronze away from farming. Soy Bronze now about 12 CS down. We'll let Top Knight Slushy get that greedy back. I wonder what he will be going for first. Okay, Sheen first, and buying a pair of boots. Looks like he will just be poking even more on this Shen.
Yeah, Sheen's actually a pretty interesting buy from the Gnar. Right now, pretty much any Gnar is going Stridebreaker because it's a pretty busted item. And it especially works well for Gnar because in the past, he's had a lot of trouble with his itemization. As many you want duelist items, as Mega you want more tank items. Stridebreaker kind of fills both those by letting his Mega get better Gnars off. Mini still gets good chase down and it gives you attack speed and damage for all that. And so I believe he's going into Divine Sunder with the Sheen. Triforce, I think, leaves you a bit too squishy. And I believe that Divine Sunder was picked earlier on in the season before people caught on that Stridebreaker's broken. And I'm not sure that I like that. I think Stridebreaker is just too good an item to give up, but maybe this will let him apply more pressure on the side lane that he's already doing a decent job in.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you. I think Stridebreaker is the move here. If you're playing against like a double hyper tank kind of comp, yeah, you could make the argument that Divine Sunder would be really good with the percent max health and just the ability to sustain against, you know, sustain in your mega form even. But in this case, while Hecarim does build some tank stats, I don't think he builds enough that like having the Divine Sunderer tank busting passive is going to be useful enough. You really just have Shen, and he can also stop a lot of your auto attacks with that Spirit's Refuge. And a gank from Hecarim in the top side if the spectator wants us to see it. But it looks like Top Knight Slushy gets away with use of his flash.
Yep, does burn that and manages to get away from the gank. Good job by him. I will put in a bit of devil's advocate for Divine Sunderer. Enemy team is a very heavy dive comp, and you don't exactly need to slow them when they're coming to you anyway. So maybe being that more like sustained, having a bit more damage on the Sunderer procs to be able to try and just keep people off his backline by killing them instead of mini CCing them. Will end up working better for him. Also does give him a bit more pressure in the side lane against the Shen to let him split push. So there's the argument there. Sunder is still broken. I will harp on this as much as I need to because I think that is a very ridiculous item that should never have come out. But we'll see how his choice impacts the game going forwards as we are still 0-0 in kills.
Yeah, as the poet once said, that's a bold move, General Vici. Let's see how it plays out. So far, he does, he's playing Gnar like Gnar should be played. He has a fairly advantageous CS lead here over the Shen, who has been forced to buy steel caps first. And now, that magic damage from the Sheen is going to do a little bit extra in terms of keeping Shen, in his place, where he belongs under his own turret. But it's been pretty quiet across the rest of the map.
Yeah, especially mid lane where you have Nocturnal and you're wanting to use that to get snowballed early, really hard to deal with global paranoia. But able to do a good job of shutting him down so far. Haven't focused that much on mid. Do want to compliment Soybronce, or not Soybronce, Top Knight Slushy against Soybronce for a CS lead. Shen's decent in range matchups tough because you get the shield to negate some of the poke. Your all-in with the taunt is actually pretty good, and a couple of those can get you low. So Top 9 Slushy's done a good job of getting his CS lead so far and keeping the pressure up, as it does look like a bunch of people went top. They picked up the Herald. Now they're looking to set up a dive onto the Shen. Gnar isn't quite mega yet, so they don't have that access, and they do drop Herald early. That does mean they're going to go. Paranoia comes in. He's going to taunt through, gets immediately one shot. Dolos is going to survive the tower. Well-executed dive, as they are going to get a bunch of plates top with the Herald charge.
Yep, 4 plates already, a first blood in Nocturne's pocket. Water Bear looks like he's going to go and counter jungle some on the side of KG, counter Logic Flaming, and there we go. First turret going to go down, and the game just exploded. A couple of turret plates will be taken in response. 2 turret plates, it looks like, from the side of KG, counter Logic Flaming, but it will not be enough at all to justify what they lost here on the top side.
Yeah, and that was just really well executed and set up from Pigs Might Fly. They had the Nocturne pushing mid, you had the support roam up to help take Herald, immediately pushed in for the tower on the Lucian as Gnar was starting to turn mega, and they just executed it well. Managed to get that first tower down. That's a bunch of golden pockets of a Gnar, now 30 CS up because you managed to deny the wave, as it does look like he's going into Divine Sunderer with the H instead of Triforce, as I would assume he would. And yeah, now it's 2k up for Pigs Might Fly going into the 10-minute mark. They also have the Dragon as well with complete neutral objectives. They've been able to get the plates back in the bot side off of bad reset timer from Logic Flaming. Lost tempo, only backed when Pigs Might Fly was just starting to push back in the lane. So with the 2 tower plates bot, they're actually going to deny pretty much everything that Logic Flaming got at the expense. So it does look like Master Window is going to go down, denies the headbutt with the unstoppable Chinook coming in. He is going to land the knockup, flash away from the Seraphine, doesn't matter. Encore does land onto 3, but there's only one way to go, and it is the wrong way from Robot Droid. He's going to go down. Duelo stuck around a bit too long. He has that break. Will flash forward, sleep onto 3, teleport him in front of 9 Slushy and the backline. That's a big 3-man pulverize, double kill with the Lily damage, who is going to be able to kite out from Jedi Mask's window. Shen went down in the meantime to the other 3. Gnar right into the wall. That is 4 kills. 4 Pigs Might Fly as they counter everything Counter Logic Flaming wanted to have happen by.
Oh, Robot Droid. Oh, wow, it's not even finished.
Yeah, Paranoia comes in. There's going to be the fear. There's going to be the damage. It's a clean ace. That is delayed because of respawn timers. It's only 11.5 minutes into the game, and Pigs Might Fly has already shot the goal lead up to 4K.
that was almost so good there for KG Counter Logic Flaming. They brought the Hecarim in. The Stand United on top of it by Soybronze allowed them to just run down Robot Droid. They were able to find him, but Robot Droid, he used that Encore. I thought for a second that it was like, yeah, a little bit of a wasted Encore, and then I realized with 2 members of his team coming down, and with how fast they move between that Lilia and then Nocturne just walking down through River, it was really easy for him to just stall time for his team. Lilia comes in, almost actually dies as he goes into the fight, but he is able to pick up that Q on 4 members, uses the sleep there, and then Nocturne comes in, pops the sleep, all the damage comes out, and it's a 5-for-1 at the end of the day. And now this Ocean Drake. The Ocean Drake will go down in favor of KG Counter Logic Flaming, but it's a bit of a hollow victory here, as they have lost a lot in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and we saw the attempted chase down from Pigs Might Fly. Couldn't quite get him. Nice consolation prize to pick up. Saw the Lilia sleep nerfs come through. Did manage to get the Swirl Sleet on 2 a couple of times there, but couldn't follow up. But yeah, good-ish consolation for Counter Logic Flaming. It is nice to stop dragon stacking. You definitely don't want a team that's as far ahead as Pigs have to be threatening Soul Point early on in the game, as that's just a good way to get forced into a fight that you never win. So aren't able to get that, but you are still in a really rough spot. Chase down means that you couldn't get good backs off, so now there's a lot of pressure on the towers from all the damage, as Khan's going to get low too. 1v2 winning from Gnar. That's also never a good sign. And just more and more is coming through. Goldleen is up another 1,000 to 5k now, with pressure in every lane, as Pigs are still looking to just get tower plates down right before they drop. As possibly dive, Hex Splash over the wall. There's the Stride Breaker. That's a big slow. Robotron is able to get it, but now Dulos is stuck under tower, so Mr. Windu does get one back. And when it comes to 1-for-1, when you're 5k down, the best response is we take those.
Yes, on the list of things that we take, it's a dragon and those. Unfortunately, they do lose a lot of turret gold in this process. I think they lost the entire top lane, first of all, 4 plates in the bot lane, and then I think 3 here in the mid lane. So that is where a lot of this gold lead is coming from. And Psycho Getsuga, he may be in a little too much trouble trying to dodge away from the taunt. He manages to, and he's gonna go back in!
Oh man, that was a big shutdown. They managed to get it through pretty much everything and the kitchen sink at Psycho Kitsuga. I think he would have lived if he hadn't used the Paranoia. Sleep was coming down from Water Bear. He managed to get the 3-man. No one could have chased him, could have just run. But he's Nocturne. He pressed R. It's Lee Syndrome on the Nightmare. He has to go in once he has it active. Otherwise, you're just wasting the cooldown. So doesn't manage to get out alive. Well done from Counter Logic Flaming to manage to get him into a slot to pick him out. Do still get the knock up despite spell shielding the charm, are able to get the chase down with the Hecarim and the Shen. They've used that combo a couple times now, and that's a very good shutdown and kill onto the Nocturne to try and keep them somewhat relevant in gold.
And that did go on to the Hecarim, so at least it wasn't, wasn't giving it to the Shen. Of course, that's not as good as if it were going on to Ariken or Malins, but, we can still take it when we've got this Hecarim on the side of KG Counter Logic Flaming, who just really needs to be able to dive into this backline and assassinate some of these very squishy members. In fact, pretty much all of them are squishy members. Alistar is the notable exception, but maybe a little bit of a team fight. Soybronze goes low.
Yeah, that's going to be flash from Duelist. Ungor on top. They are going to be able to chase down the Soybronze, but they do get a knockback from the Syndra. That's going to stop them from chasing any farther forward. But still a pick. Shen's dead. Has TP if they do want to contest the Herald, but it's really hard at this point, as they do still have the Sleep. They do still have the Gnar, who's about to turn Mega. And it looks like they're contesting it away, but that's going to be Duelist with the knock-up. Here comes the Paranoia into the back line. He's going to get a big slow on the back side. He is getting burst down low, though. Gets away with barely a sliver of health. The Seraphine saves him just in time. 2 marks and Gnar into the wall. Able to get the wall up as well for the combo. And that is another 1 team fight with 3 kills for Pigs Might Fly.
absolutely filthy team fight. Saigo Getsuga trusts his team enough. He says, you know, F this Hecarim. I'm paranoiing into the full back line. I do not need to go on Hecarim. My team will get it for me. He almost regrets it. And then Seraphine, with that Moonstone, comes in, manages to save him with a sliver of health remaining. And after that, that's pretty much all she wrote. All of the damage is down. Everything has been used by the side of KG Counterlogic Flaming. Malin's not strong enough yet. He did just get that Q evolve, but it's not going to be enough to deal actual team fight damage. Top Knight Slushy waiting on the E. Hopefully he can still get away. Can he get over the wall before Soy Bronze can... Yeah, there we go. He's out. No sweat.
Yeah. Yep, no sweat. And there was 4 people chasing him down, and that's actually going to interfere with Syndra's mana pool, as there's going to be a fight at Dragon, but should be a little bit of wait, or not, as Hecarim's just in the back line, does manage to get the fear. Charge doesn't knock him anywhere into the team, so now they're chasing forward, although that's going to be Flashes burned away. Shen coming in with the ult, but Nar's about to turn Mega. He's in the back line. Kai'Sa's already dead. Rakan goes in to stall for a bit, but he's just going to dive for it as well. Now Soy Bronze is getting chased down for the kill. Paranoia comes down. Hecarim didn't run quite far enough. He was clearing a ward. That means you're on vision for the Nocturne to get on top of you. And you might be tanky, but Nocturne does damage as they're able to chase down for another kill. All 4, only Syndra alive to prevent the ace. Dragon now as well, and Pigs Might Fly is very, very, very much in control of this game.
I gotta say, in that team fight, Top Knight Slushy actually did a ridiculous amount of damage using that Divine Sunderer. I think it is a symptom of how far ahead he and his team are in general, but I mean, the Divine Sunderer did look like it was still doing a lot of work. I think Stridebreaker, of course, we gotta harp on this again, would have been better, but Divine Sunderer definitely is not a ridiculous choice here. Now the Rift Herald is popped in the mid lane. They may be able to get this. Oh, Top Knight Slushy coming in for the kill. Saigo Getsuga gets that one. There goes the tower. And now the game is back to a 4v5, as it seems like KG Counterlogic Flaming just is addicted to getting picked.
Yeah, it's really rough. And I mean, you can see them with just so much desperation in every engage they're going for. Contested at Herald with a man down, didn't even wait for TP to come back up. Then forcing a fight around Dragon right afterwards into the enemy team, where they don't have enough damage to make a pick at this point. Your carries are behind, not even a mythic done yet on either of them. Going into an enemy team with all their items, you just need to be kind of patient with how you approach it. Yes, you can't give them everything, but there's also a time and place to pick your fights that isn't just forcing every one you think you have to take. And with that, Counterlogic Flaming just kept putting themselves further and further behind. Now it's 11,500 gold deficit, and with that much, even those fights that you could have maybe taken at 5k down are basically unwinnable at 11k when it isn't even 20 minutes yet.
Yeah, 11k is damn near a full item difference on every single champion against them, so it's not looking great. Basically, you have to 2v1 at a minimum any single champion, and with the number of with the paranoia from Nocturne, he's going to be able to come in and help, and suddenly that you basically have to 5v2 two of them in order to really ensure that you're making these picks. It's not looking good here for KG Counterlogic Flaming. There isn't anything aside from the Baron, at least, for Pigs Might Fly to take at this point. So small victories here for KG Counterlogic Flaming, as at least they know where Pigs Might Fly is going to be. At least they know that they're safe, not in the Baron pit. They can still go for the Baron here, and it would have to be a suicidal steal from Jedi Master Windu. But it looks like they're not even going to really try that. 4 members of Pigs Might Fly on that Baron. Saigo Getsuga just going to run away from Malins. And it's going to be a slow Baron take, but definitely a steady and sure one, as Master Windu can't even get in, and he's going to get gnarred. Oh.
Yep, it's going to unstoppable Unsled, has the Shen ult on top, going through, manages to barely get away, but Stridebreaker from Sed goes through. Soybon's tried to save his jungler. This is why you never do that. You just die along with them, and they are going to be able to go right back to the Baron. And it's something I was thinking about while you were talking about them knowing where they are. Congratulations, you know the enemy team are on Baron and not about to kill you. That also means they're on Baron, about to get Baron, and there is very little you can do about it with how far behind you are. And they're just going to go right back to it. We saw what happened when they attempted to contest. Now they're 2 members lower with the defensive ults down. And I think Top Knight Slushy can probably just 3v1 at this point, even if they try and go for him, which it looks like they're trying to do. Knock up over the wall, are able to get some. With Exhaust, they might be able to do a bit more. Charm into it as well, barely managed to get the Gnar off, is going to be able to get the auto for the heal, trying to kite away, but does manage to go down from Malin's just at the end there. So that is a really good pick to deny Baron from probably one of the more threatening members of Pigs.
Yeah, deny Baron on the guy who has the teleport coming up soon, the general split pusher here for Pigs Might Fly, and not to mention you get big shutdown gold here onto this Kai'Sa, who will have finished her collector. There is no healing reduction because really KG Counterlogic Flaming physically cannot afford it, but it is going to be a lot easier for him to cut through some of these squishier members. Saigo Getsuga and Robot Droid do have a lot of healing embedded in their kits and their items, but we're taking the littlest victories that we can here. 11.5k in the lead still for Pigs Might Fly. The dragon is coming up in about 10 seconds, and this will be the sole point for Pigs Might Fly. So KG Counterlogic Flaming, they could fight it, they could not fight it. I don't think it really makes that much of a difference at this point, but they could go for a steal at least. Jedi Master Windu's up. He's 3 levels down, but Hecarim can chunk fairly hard with the Onslaught of Shadows into Smite. And a 1v1 between Top Knight Slushy and Ariken. And I think it's less of a 1v1 as it is extended going for minions.
Yeah, just chasing a bit far forward. That's probably the best way to delay the Gnar split push at this point, is so busy chasing you, the minions aren't going to get chased down. And right there is why we keep saying that Stridebreaker is broken and you should have it. Because if he has Stridebreaker, he manages to chase that down. He didn't, so he can't, and Syndra gets to run and live. Still doesn't matter at all, of course, with how the game has gone, but we have to talk about something at this point when the game's essentially a complete stomp. And that's one of the things to talk about. Something else I'll mention is the Zanyas on Syndra before even a mythic item. I get that you're behind, they dive you and kill you instantly, you have to have some way of avoiding the Seraphine and the Gnar, and Zanyas is really good at that. But what it also means is you don't have a damaging item, so that if your team does have a miracle pick, maybe starting a miracle fight, Syndra has very, very little damage to support it because she went for the Zanyas. So you get that, and now even if you have a chance to get a pick, maybe you don't get it, and that's the way you get back in, is trying to get those. So you might avoid dying, but you also stop from killing any of them, and when you're behind, you definitely need to be able to kill them. Otherwise, they just kill you when you come out of Zanyas. So I get the pick, but it is something to mention, as it is one of those ways that you can try and cut back.
Yeah, I really think of it as the horseshoe theory of League of Legends itemization. The Paranoia comes out, but he's not on anyone yet. Now he is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a big jump in for the Gnar. Is managing to burst down, but that's a gigantic steel shield from the Sterix, from the Seraphine. He's going to chase forward, and actually no one managed to die from that. Encore missed. Paranoia didn't really get used. Top Knight did go in for the Gnar, but not quite enough follow-up from the team. They weren't in that good a position. Also don't have any DPS when Nocturne isn't into the middle of them, because your range DPS is a Seraphine with Moonstone. So are going to manage to escape that, but now Hecarim's chasing forward. They're looking to continue the fight. They know the ults are down. Taunt is going to land on a dual. Lowe's Rakan's in the backline, manages to get the knock up, but he is now stunned in the middle. No one to dash through. They all ran. He's going to be slept by the Kai'Sa, or by the Lilia, excuse me. Kai'Sa was also slept. Now she's trying to get forward. Stun is going to keep her from going down, but Soy Bronze doesn't have as much move speed. He can't get away. Taunt was used to go in, and on the attempted re-engage, 3 went down. No one at all died. 4 Pigs Might Fly, as they are pushing down and looking to end this game right here.
And it looks like Top Knight Slushy's even going for another kill. The Fountain will be a little bit too strong, considering it's still 26 minutes into the game. Fountain, it's a bit too much to get through when you're at 2 items. And now, they don't actually have the minion wave to finish it just now, because the Super's coming in a little bit late against this Kai'Sa. So Pigs Might Fly, they're just going to reset, they're going to come back. They're not going to do the same thing that our friends at AOECC did in the last game and just kind of dive the Fountain and Nexus turrets and end up losing their lives. They're going to keep it nice, calm, steady, 14,000 gold lead here at 26 minutes. 2 minutes until this this final Cloud Drake soul comes up, and I don't think the game is going to get much closer to that. A minute on Baron, however, and if they decide to dance, they may just, you know, dancing with themselves and take this Baron and finish it out in style, cloaked in purple.
Yep, they can pretty much do whatever they want at this point, and I think they'll still have a good shot. Syndra still doesn't have her mythic done. Kai'Sa does have her items, but when the enemy team is as tanky, you even have the Nocturne going for the Titanic Hydra, the more aggressive option, or the more defensive option that makes it harder to burst, which when you have a Seraphine on your team with all the shields and heals she provides, it is good to be tankier, because if they don't kill you immediately, they definitely don't kill you long term. And you definitely have enough damage to kill them with how far ahead you are. You even have a Giant's Belt on the Lily going for the Demonic Helm. Dead Man's done for Gnar. They have a big gold lead. They're able to just get this tower back up for Baron if they want. I honestly think they could just 5-man push down top, and there's not a lot that could be done about it. But always take the safe route, because going risky, sometimes you might hit that tiny pothole and crash the car, which you don't want to do, as they are going to push with 4. Top Knight's farming jungle, but he has a TP in. He is going to TP into the base. They're looking to close this out.
Yeah, the paranoia, and this is starting to spell the beginning of the end. Except the paranoia actually expires. It was a zoning paranoia. Psycho Getsuga learned his lesson from the last one, where he insisted on going in and not wasting it. But there we go.
Yep, Gnar scoop in too. That was really beautiful. Seraphine all over the top. It goes through absolutely everyone. She's in the back line trying to channel his ult. Just goes down immediately to the Lilia. No Hecarim trying to cut away, but the Seraphine over the wall picks it up with her E. Now Top Knight still chasing down onto 2, as we all knew the outcome. We all knew exactly what was happening, and surprise, surprise, it did, as Pigs Might Fly take down AOECC for the last game of this week's Platinum.
Yep, Pigs Might Fly taking down KG Counter Logic Flaming, not AOECC, but either way,
yes.
It was a pretty dominant performance. 4-24 was the kill score, a 16k gold lead at the end of the day, and 11 turrets to nothing. Pigs Might Fly definitely showing that they are determined to stay on top of the standings here at 4-0 in the Ascended Conference.
Yeah, and just clean win by the overall. Had the advantages in the top lane. They dove, executed well, started getting towers, took advantage of the mistakes from Counter Logic Flaming, not AOECC, though they did get AOECC'd several times over the course of the game. And yeah, just very clean win from Pigs, as we do get, I believe this is just past the halfway point of the split.
Yeah, week 5, there are 14 teams in Platinum this split, so 16 teams in Platinum, which means 7 weeks of play. We are a little bit past the halfway point as we are in week 5, but everyone has played their 4th game now for Platinum. So Pigs Might Fly alongside the Mingos are sitting at 4-0 here in the Ascended Conference, looking very good in this race for playoffs with only 3 games left to play. They're pretty much, they've positioned themselves at a very good point here, almost locking themselves in. And I think really now for the Pigs and Mingos, it's going to be more of a battle on who gets that coveted first place once they finally play. Meanwhile, on the side of KG Counter Logic Flaming at 1-3, it's going to take a little bit of elbow grease and chutzpah to find themselves one of these playoff berths. But with 2 more teams at 2-2, they still have a chance. So everyone, thank you for tuning in for the Ascended Conference of Platinum Capped of the GRLCS Spring 2021. I've been Vid, joined by General Vici, and as always, we will see you next week. Bye now.